Welcome students to our online teaching and learning at Shet Vidya Mandir English High School and Junior College. Students, you all must be liking to go for vacation. And when you go for a holiday, you like to spend time with the nature. You like to take a lot of pictures of different parts of the day. Like in this picture, you can see the images of different parts of the day, like the morning sunrise, the evening sunset, or maybe lastly the moonlight. The nature looks beautiful and pleasing to all of us. So, students, in our today's topic, we shall see the beauty of the moonlight at the night through the poem Silver by Walter de la Mare, Standard 9th, Lesson 3.1. So, let's know something more about the poet Walter de la Mare. Walter de la Mare was born on 25th April 1873 and died on 22nd of June 1956. He was an English poet, short story writer and novelist. He is probably best remembered for his works for children, for his poem The Listeners, and for a highly acclaimed selection of subtle psychological horror stories, amongst them Satan's Aunt and All the Hollows. So these were some achievements of the poet Walter de la Mare. Walter de la Mare, born on 25th April 1873 and died on 22nd of June 1956. He was an English poet, short story writer and novelist. He is probably best remembered for his works for children, for his poem The Listeners, and for a highly acclaimed selection of subtle psychological horror stories. Amongst them were Satan's Aunt and All Hollows. So here we get to know something about the poet Walter de la Mare. So let's get started. The poem is of about 14 lines, which is divided into three stanzas. The first four lines we take it. Slowly, silently, now the moon walks the night in a silver shoon. This way, that way, she peers and sees silver fruit upon silver trees. Now, the first part of the poem, what do we see? Slowly and silently, now the moon walks the night in a silver shoon. Silver shoon is nothing but these are the shoes. The moon walks, the moon is assumed to be walking. Walks in the night in a silver shoon. A her it represents that the moon is a female. It's representing by the word she. This way, that way, she peers and sees. She's piercing, she's looking here and there and finding for someone. That is silver fruit upon the silver trees. What does she find? She finds silver fruits, that is, fruits that appear to be silvery in the moonlight. So, here the first stanza we talk of the poet begins by describing the progress of the moon through the sky. And it is this moving as one would be expect that slowly and silently. The poet refers the moon with she and describes how she is walking through the night, taking her time to see everything, especially the night scenes. That catches her eyes is the silver fruit upon the silver trees. So, the first part of the poem, the poet, first of all, the poem is represented with the word she, and she wants to see different part of the night as the night is getting darker, and she wants to see different part of the different scenes that she would like to see in the night. So, she sees silver fruits on the silver trees. So, it's actually an exaggeration where the entire part is to be exaggerated. There's nothing as silver and there's nothing as a silver tree or a silver fruit. So we have an hyperbole over here where is exaggerating. If you go to see the entire poem is exaggeration, where nothing looks silver and the poet is trying to tell us it is silver. So the first line we can have an alliteration where the alphabet S and S are alliterating or repeating for poetic effect. In the second line we can have as personification where walks the night in a silver shoon. The moon is given human quality of walking with the silver shoes. In the third line, we can have the word repetition where way is repeated. Even you can have a tautology where the words peers and sees resemble similar meaning. Okay, so we understood the first stanza has to the silver fruits and silver trees are seen by the poet, by the moonlight. One by one the casemates catch her beams beneath the silvery thatch. Couched in a kennel like a log, with paws of silver sleeps the dog. Now, as the night is getting darker, the poet is trying to describe that the moon is looking at other things above the head. So one by one, the casements catch other windows, open wide window slidings. These are called as casements. Her beams beneath the silvery thatch. Beams are the light which glows up. Silvery thatch. Thatch is a roof made of grass or leaves. It's a shading or a covering. Couched in his kennel. Couched is taking a seat in his kennel like a log. Now the kennel is a house for a dog. Like a log, with paws of silver sleeps the dog. Paws are the forearms of a dog, and log is called to be a piece of wood. So as the light passes to the casements of the windows starts looking silvery, and when the light passes on through the kennel, that the dog is sleeping in the kennel, it looks like a log. So the second part, what is the poet tries to tell us, that's moving ahead with the next lines. The poet moves on to describe additional sights the moon sees. She draws a sight to the casements, that is the part of the window set on a hinge. After which the light moves on to the roof of a building. The roofs and windows shine. The next sight the poet sees is the dog sleeping in his kennel. He looks like a log in the night. Now here the moon touches the dog and turns his paws into a silver shining color. So the next part, what is the poet sees, what is the moon representing to be, looking at the casements of the windows, as well as the dog who is sleeping is looking like a log. So the first line again we can have in repetition of the word one repeating. In this third line we can have couched in his kennel like a log. Now the dog is couching in his kennel and looking like a log. So here you have a simile where direct comparison is made between the dog and the log. So moving ahead to the next part, that's the last 6 lines of the poem. From their shadowy coot, the white breast peep of doves and silver feathered sleep. A harvest mouse goes scampering by with silver claws and silver eye, and moveless fish in the water gleam by silver reeds in a silver stream. Now, as the night is getting more darker and more deeper, the poet is trying to describe that the moon is looking more shinier, and the moon is looking, as the moonlight passes on to some other things, these things also turn up to be looking silvery. So what were the things? From the shadowy coot the white breast peep. Now coot is a shelter for the birds such as pigeons. So now here we are representing the bird dove. The white breast peep. The white breasts are nothing but these birds with white feathers in front and chest and on the other parts of the body. Of doves and silver feathered sleep. Silver feathered sleep are these birds. That's the dove bird. A harvest mouse goes scampering by. Scampering is running here and there or taking a quick step with silver claws and silver eye. A harvest mouse is again a mouse. So the next animal after the bird dove is a mouse. With silver claws. Claws are the curved pointed horny nails of animals or birds. With silver claws and silver eyes. The mouse eyes are shining in the silver light and the claws are also shining. So the next we see about the mouse, and now what we see is the fish. And moveless fish in the water gleam. The moveless fishes are the motionless fishes. Gleam are their shining. As the moonlight falls on the water starts shining and there's a gleaming sunshine seen on the water. By silver reeds in a silver stream. Silver reeds. Reeds are a riverside plants which grow on the riverside where you get to see they are all wild plants. Even when the moonlight falls on them, they even start looking silvery in the silver stream. The stream is a flowing water. Even the flowing water looks shining in the moonlight. So let's understand completely. In the next slide, we see another animal being discussed, that is the dove. The dove is seen resting in their shadowy coot, that is a small shelter for birds. That is why silver feathered sleep is addressed to the sleeping doves. The poet then describes a harvest mouse who is seen running here and there. The mouse has been described to be looking beautiful with its silver claws and silver eyes. Now lastly we see the last 2 lines in the stanza. It brings a feeling of peace while the poet discusses the movement of the fish which are sleeping They are moveless in the gleaming water. Now it's night time, so everybody is sleeping. And the fishes are motionless, moveless in the water, and they are completely stopped the movement in the water, and they too are shining. It looks very beautiful to see the water gleaming as well as the fishes shining. The last line talks about the silver reeds. They move steadily within the silver stream, and it is easy to envision the river moving in the night time. The water is moving, you can see as the moonlight shines, the silver color shines on the stream. It looks like the water is moving. So, moving ahead with the summary of the poem, Silver by Walter de la Mare describes the impact that the silver light of the moon has on everyday objects and creatures existing within the darkened night. The poem begins with the speaker stating that the light of the moon is casting down on earth. This is occurring while she, that is the moon, moves slowly through the sky. The moon is taking its time, choosing to look at everything on earth while she has the chance. Some of the creatures and objects that are spotted and therefore cast in silver light are the casements of windows, doves, a dog, and sleeping fish. These creatures and objects are perfectly ordinary. There is nothing remarkable about them during the day, but at night they are enhanced and made more beautiful. So, students, a beautiful sight where we very few of us, reflect, because we don't take time to watch the nature or feel the nature. So, whenever you feel the nature, you get to see different things and you learn different things when you look at the nature. Now, what values do we learn from this part of the poem? Silver is an extraordinary power or an advancement lasting for a short period of time. Silver is always known to be a powerful weapon or powerful color which lasts for a short time. Like the night lasts for a short time, though it's silvery and beautiful, it lasts for a short period of time. Enjoy the beauty of nature, as it is said, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Now, silvery is the only part when it's seen only in the night. So, it's for a very short period of time when the moonlight shines over us and we get to see everything shining in the moonlight. So, it is very natural that the nature's beauty is for a very short time. That is why it is said, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. So, beauty is a power, a smile in its soul. So, beauty is called to be a powerful weapon to us, which is a smile. Beauty is how you feel inside and it reflects in your eyes. Now when you see something very beautiful, it will reflect to you and it will be seen in your eyes. Nature's beauty is a gift that cultivates appreciation and gratitude. It's a nature's beauty that is a gift that cultivates, that gives us appreciation and gratitude. It's that feeling what we feel from the nature, which is very beautifully given to us by God, makes us feel full of appreciation and fill us with gratitude. Time for some assessment. If you are asked to draw a detailed picture of the scene described in the poem, what object, animals, natural features, etc. will you show in the picture? Make a list of it. What all things would you like to see show in your picture? You can just jot them down. Or even if you don't want to jot them, if you like to see these images again in your site which you would like to see, you can picturize it again. Write the rhyming words and the rhyme scheme of the poem. Now the rhyming words, if you see in the end of each line, you will find rhyming words like moon, shoon, seas, trees, catch, thatch, log, dog, peep, sleep, by, eye, gleam and stream. If you talk about the rhyme scheme, taking them stanza wise, you'll have rhyme scheme as A, B, B, and in the next stanza also it repeats the same A, B, B. And for the last stanza, which has 6 lines, you'll have A, B, B, and C, C. Underline the word silvery in the poem, silver or silvery in the poem. In which line does it occur? What pattern does it show? If you go to see the entire poem, if you jot down the poem in your book and underline the silver, you will find in each and every line of the poem the word silver present. Almost all the lines have the word silver in it. And what does it show? It shows that the moonlight falls on these things and makes them look silvery. That is the answer to this pattern. Can you think of a parallel scene of dawn or evening? Dawn is again getting closer to evening, when everything is steeped in golden light. That's your imagination, which you can understand and write in your own words. The same landscape appears different at different times. What message can you draw from this? Some message even I've given you from this poem. You can add it to your own words and make a complete answer to this. I hope the lesson has given a good moral to you. Thank you.